I'll let you into a little secret. There's a tool called Weavy AI that is the secret to creating absolutely jaw-dropping, beautiful mobile apps, software, etc. So if you're anything like me, you vibe coded using tools like Google AI Studio, Claude Code, Lovable, and the results don't look that beautiful. Like they look fine, but they don't look beautiful. And why beautiful matters is you want people to fall in love with your product. So how do you actually do that? Well, I brought on my friend Suraya, who's an incredible designer. She sold her last company to Snap, and she walks us through her entire AI workflow, including how to use Weavy AI, the secret tool that is so powerful that could help you create beautiful, jaw-dropping designs. In this episode, we do a live build. We actually show you how we can live build using Google AI Studio, using Claude, using Weavy AI, using Figma, and going back to Google AI Studio. So this is the entire workflow. People who stick around to the end of this episode are going to be weapons. This is a tutorial that doesn't exist anywhere on the internet. So give a like, comment, and subscribe for more on this in your feed. Let's get going. I begged her to come onto the pod. Suraya, a dear friend of mine, probably one of the most talented designers, and 99% of people haven't heard of her. She sold her last company to Snap. She's incredible, and I asked her to come on for one sole reason. There's a lot of us who are vibe coding apps, but they look kind of garbage. And Suraya's AI workflow, she uses tools like Weavy AI, she uses Claude, she uses Flux, she uses a lot, and she's able to create apps and websites and SaaS products that really resonate with people. So, Suraya, thank you for coming on, and I'm hoping that you can teach us how to create gorgeous vibe-coded apps.
Thank you for having me. Very kind intro. Yeah, I think this will be fun.
Okay, so if people stick around to the end of the episode, tactically, like what are people going to learn?
Okay, you will learn how to design something that looks like an agency designed it.
Okay, and not just any agency.
No, like a real brand designer, and maybe more importantly, you'll learn how to make something that someone actually wants to download. And you can use yourself as an example. You'll see an ad for it yourself and be like, oh, I would actually use that.
Yeah. And to be honest, like as much as I wanted to do this for the pod, I wanted to do this for myself because I wanted to learn. I think there's so much opportunity right now to be vibe coding products that people love using, IG Reels and TikTok ads to get it to market. But, a lot of the times when I'm vibe coding stuff, it just looks kind of lame. So what you're showing me today, before we get into it, what you're showing me today, I'll be able to basically design products this beautiful?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, show us how.
Okay, amazing. Okay, yeah, by the end of this episode, we should have something like this designed and walk through how we do it. So let's get started. We already introed this, but we should build something that doesn't look like a robot made it. Anyone can build an app now. It's amazing. So much has changed, but now everything looks the same. And so if you're going to make something that looks like everything else, it's just really tough to actually expect anyone to download it. I am obsessed with branding. I love branding. We should think of it as the same thing as the product, same thing as engineering. Like everything is branding. But to actually prove why, okay, let's make an app. We thought we would use a voice journal app as an example. I feel like it's a rite of passage to want to make a journaling app.
That's right.
I'm always like, I should journal. And then I'm like, why don't I just make a journaling app instead? Okay, so for this demo, we're going to use Google AI Studio. It's definitely one of my favorite vibe coding apps. It's really good at one-shotting interfaces, but we're more so focusing on design here. But let's just use this kind of basic prompt, like build a mobile-sized voice journaling app. Users can see a home screen, record voice entries, see the transcript, browse past entries. and have it build it. Let's see how long this takes.
It's pretty quick. I would say like 2 minutes or under.
Yeah, it's honestly so quick. It's amazing. It's kind of become my favorite one-shot tool for vibe coding.
Yeah, have you used any other tools? Like why suggest Google AI Studio?
I use AI. So AI Studio is my favorite for like a one-shot prototype. So if you just want to see something, you're not working in an existing code base, you're just like, what would this look like? Google AI Studio is really good because it'll do it end to end. When I'm actually working day to day in an existing code base, like in my current startup, we typically focus on using Claude Code just because it's really good at working within a code base. And then sometimes if I do want the capabilities of Gemini, but I still want to work in an existing code base, I'll use Gemini's model in Cursor. And then I found that Gemini is really good at UI and shader work and like more complex animations.
Which is key, right? Because we're going to take this one shot and then we're just going to try to paint it beautifully, right?
Exactly. We're going to take this one shot and be like, okay, we have the functionality. Now, how do we make it something that a human would actually use?
And I think the problem is what a lot of people do is they go back and forth, ping pong, so to speak, with the AI models when they need to kind of take a step back and then figure out the branding and then apply that branding to the app, right?
100%. Like you can think of it as like, what do you want to outsource and what do you not want to outsource? Like you could say this focuses on like what it should do, but you want to keep as much like how it should do it to your own brain so that it like actually feels distinct and looks different. Otherwise, like it makes sense that everything would look the same if you're outsourcing like all of the thinking. But what's amazing is we can now outsource stuff that are solved problems. Like it's a solved problem to build a lot of this, but your unique take is pretty important.
And I'm actually really interested to see how you use Weavy AI to do it. I know we're going to get there, but that's a tool that I've been meaning to try for a very long time. It feels like a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah. I feel like actually even as a designer, like I used to not like node-based tools, even though like origami and stuff was really popular. I never personally liked it. But I think with like AI models are the unlock for it, for making them like actually super useful. Okay, let's see what this generated. Okay, this generated, good morning, you can record, hello, hello, hello. It's going to record something. Stop recording it. Pretty cool. I mean, it's still obviously really epic to see that this could get generated in like 20 seconds or 2 minutes or however long it took. Okay, cool. You can see the home and you can see the journal. Let's take screenshots of this and see what it looks like in our Figma. So this is the app that got generated via Google. And I mean, honestly, like if the App Store was just invented, it wouldn't be that bad because it was a novel thing to be able to record back then. But now that we're so used to software, like if we were to see this on Instagram or TikTok, we would not download it ourselves to use.
It's true, and I don't think a lot of people are saying that, right? So yeah, so how do we, this is really cool and it's got a good foundation. How do we take this foundation and build something beautiful?
Okay, so the helpful part about this is we know what it needs to do. So let's just like quickly write down what it needs to. It needs to record audio. It needs to, let's see what else. It needs to have a history of what you record. And it needs to have like a button to actually start recording. Or we already have that with record audio. It needs to have timer while you're recording.
So basically you just outline what the screens needs to do at this stage.
And most people stop here, right? Like vibe coding focuses a lot on like, what does the thing do? It records, it shows your history, and there's a timer. But that's like not what a product is. Like you don't really think of your favorite products in the world and think, oh, it does this. You think, oh, it makes my life easier and I just feel so good using it and like blah, 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 blah. So that's what we're going to focus on now. An equally important thing to what it does is like, how should it do it? So I literally always start here. Like I define how something should make you feel. And even though that sounds like a little designer hippy dippy, it's like really not. And so, okay, I kind of wrote out this prompt beforehand. And this is exactly something that I would paste in Claude, and we're going to paste it in Claude and see what it thinks. But let's just talk about how the audio journal app should make someone feel. I think it should make someone feel, or let me rephrase, who are we making this for? We're making an audio journal app for someone who wants to get their thoughts out. It's too long to write them out on pen and paper, but they're maybe tired of just like using tech all the time and like being on their phone all the time. And so that tells us that we don't want people to feel like they're just in any other app. So that means that our original design already failed, because this like 100% feels like every other app on the planet. And so it kind of goes against like why someone would download an AI journal in the first place, which is like to feel calmer and just get your thoughts out. So now we know, okay, we want someone to feel maybe like they're in something analog. They want to be able to think out loud, but not feel like they're on their phones. And they shouldn't feel like we're trying to steal their attention and like force a bunch of ads and random stuff down their throat, like a lot of apps. Let's go ahead and paste this into Claude so that it can help us along the way. I'm designing a voice journaling app. Let's have it help us define how it feels, blah, 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 and see what it says.
And what's your advice for people who, like, I feel like your insights there were really bang on. Like, any advice for people to come up with insights like that?
Good question. I think an example is I actually use movies and TV shows as a reference a lot. Like, movies and TV shows have a beginning, middle, end. And if we think of a product like that, it becomes a lot easier. Like, if we're building like a health tracking app, we don't really care about the middle and end yet. We care about the beginning, and that's like how someone feels. So we might say like, okay, we want someone to feel not anxious by like having some annoying coach telling them what to do every 5 seconds. Like, that might not get the girl who I want to download it. And so if you just think really like as a human, I think that's why people say like build stuff for yourself, because it's like you naturally know how you feel and how you want to feel. I don't think you have to build for yourself. But you also have to think about like, okay, then how would that person want to feel? And then you work backwards. Like, okay, I want this girl to feel calm. Therefore, it probably can't have like 75 timers saying like track these 5,000 things, and like work backwards of those like keywords. But also like Claude helps with it a lot. So even if we said something like, I'm designing a voice journal app, I want people to feel calm, or they're tired of their phones, like you could kind of see, okay, what does it say? How should it feel? Like, do I actually like what it's saying, or do I not? And like you keep, I think Claude is like the perfect brainstorming tool.
Cool. That's helpful.
So here, let's see what it says. It says, this is for the overthinker that needs to exhale. Mind's constantly running. Sure, whatever. Overstimulated. Yep, like this all sounds like pretty spot on. They crave permission to be unpolished. They're suspicious of apps that want too much of them. Analog warmth, that's cool because it's highly visual. So I think like the things to take from this are like, what are things that are like very visual? And then also what's equally helpful is like, what is it not? It's not productivity tool. That's important because that's really the opposite of like a private space to rant. It's not social, not needy. Okay, this is really helpful. And I don't tend to use the questions it asks for this branding process because it's more about like, what do we want from this? And then let's go back to the Figma. So now Claude knows enough to kind of help us create brand guidelines. I feel like a lot of people think of brand guidelines as this like corporate, like Afterpaint structure, but it's really not. Brand guidelines are really just like a prompt in and of itself, and it's a prompt we're going to bring into Weavy. So let's call our app Cassette. So we can say, let's call our app Cassette. Based on that, write me brand guidelines. And we'll just kind of use this throughout.
I'm happy you said, by the way, that you think brand guidelines sounds corporate-y, because I sort of know that people are thinking that in their heads.
I mean, we should make like a different phrase. Oh gosh, it's going really extra. It's making like literal brand guidelines. No, just write them out, please.
What people don't realize is the brand guidelines is what's going to get people to download your app. It's the opposite of corporate jargon and corporate stuff, right?
100%. Like if a brand is successful, you won't notice it in the final app. It'll just feel good. Yeah. And that's really the goal of like all these complexities and processes. Like you don't do processes. Like sometimes you could literally just sketch something and that's it and you've got it. It's just about knowing like what you want. But I think these tools are nice because they help you get to know what you want. Like we can look at this and see, do we like it or not? Like cassette. Deliberate misspelling of cassette. That was not deliberate. That was my bad. That's really not important. Cassette is a voice journal for people who think out loud but are tired of being on their phones. Totally spot on. Let's put that in the Figma. We like that. That seems like a good thing to put into Weavy. And that's kind of just what you do. Like you just take stuff from here that you like. And like, let's see where it talks about cassette is the satisfying click of a record button. That feels really nice because we can kind of feel that like, okay, maybe we just build our whole visual style around like analog cassette designs. And so I usually will just like talk back and forth with Claude. It could take one chat like this or a few more until you kind of end up with guidelines that you like. So I think parts of this are relevant and then a bunch of it we don't really need. But for now, let's just take like these two things. Voice journal, people who think out loud. It's focused on analog and like a record button. And then the next tool I use is Cosmos. Cosmos is it's honestly one of my favorite apps just in general. It's an alternative to Pinterest and it's beautiful and it's usually where I make mood boards. So I prepared a mood board for this voice app, but I'm going to show you just like very easily how you could add to it or do the same. It's super simple. Like you could literally just type vintage cassette. Oh, there's this like cassette and you can kind of go down all these clusters. And Cosmos is really nice because you kind of just end up in this like endless loop. And so if you really like the colors in this, I'm going to add this to our voice app mood board. And then you can just keep going until you stop. I usually end up on this site just without even trying. So if we go back to the mood board, you can kind of feel the vibe that like all of these are matching the stuff we just talked about. Like they're all really analog. We can lean into the analog vibe to make something feel how we said in the beginning, which is like not very techy, not overwhelming, and like personal. And so the next step is the main part we're going to talk about, which is Weavy. So Weavy, super cool app. Like Greg mentioned earlier, it's node-based. And yeah, kind of like you said, it looks complex. Like if you zoom out, it has like this beautiful complex thing, but it's actually really not. I found that it's just the best way to try any model visually and like really, really quickly for honestly any project. So let's get back to branding. I went ahead and I saved all the images from this mood board to my desktop. So you just like go into it, click save, then it saves. And then you just paste them all into Weavy so that we can use them for branding. And then they load really quickly. Let's put them all together. And now the question, this is what you couldn't do in the past. Like in the past, you'd have a mood board and then it's like, okay, then what? It's all this work and you have to like contact a designer and have them like look at the mood board, create custom assets from it and like all this stuff. But now literally anyone can do it. Let's go back to the Figma. Okay, so we did the mood board, cool. And now we're going to start a Weavy. And so the way you use Weavy and the way I use it is I kind of switch between Claude and Weavy, and I have Claude create the prompts that I want to put into Weavy. And so, okay, we're going to start with colors. Colors is like a mood board, kind of the most primitive, easy thing to start with. And then it's going to be like building blocks like colors and then backgrounds and then buttons and images. And you could think of it as like a literal painting. And we're kind of starting with the background. So we have this image in Weavy, one of the mood board references. You're going to take it as an input. And let's use an image model. We're going to use Flux 2 Pro. It's very good, just like general model to use for a bunch of stuff. And so then in the prompt, we can write something like, I need a color palette, extract colors from this reference image. And let's see what it does. And usually when I run these models, I run a bunch of different ones. Like, let's do the same thing on this one because this is kind of nice. And let's just say, give me a color palette based on this image, but make it textured and vintage.
And you're doing that because you want to see like what's going to get you the best result?
Yes. So you want to see what's going to get you the best result and what's going to get you, I mean, part of this is developing your own taste in general and in the product you're making. So like if we go back to, okay, I want this person to feel retro, calm, cool, what else? Like not too techy, like what matches that? So that's another reason I start with like, how do you want the end person to feel? Is like any step of the way you just kind of go back to that and are like, is this true or not true? So like I kind of like thought I would love this more, but I kind of love this more personally. Like it just feels really cohesive and there's like a really nice textural element to it. And so maybe that tells us like, oh, we should lean into like the textures of cassette tapes and stuff like that. Like actually earlier when I kind of was thinking through this demo, I did some other variations and kind of ended up with like a similar metaphor of like, okay, how can we lean into this like analog cassette tape? So maybe we kind of run with that. So now we have like a couple color palettes. But I don't know about you, but I personally also am like obsessed with this image. Honestly, like this could literally be the app. And honestly, sometimes I do that. Like I'll find one image I like and then make a whole company based off that image. Like my last startup I worked on, literally I just found like one image and then the whole branding came from that one image. So I wouldn't be afraid of doing that. Like you could literally just love this image so much and be like, this is the whole app, the whole product. Like everything.
Didn't Johnny Ive do that with Dieter Rams and Apple? Like it's basically what he did, I think, you know? Johnny Ives, who used to run design at Apple, was a huge Dieter Rams fan. I think Dieter Rams was, you know, creating stuff in the 50s and 60s and just saw some of his stuff. And then that inspired a whole set of Apple products from that. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just doing it using different tools.
100%. It's all the same exact thing. And even for the new product I'm working on right now, like I literally just found one image that I really liked. And now the entire product is based on this like one shadow image. So this one, I feel like it's kind of nice to find that image. So like we have these two color palettes, but I also just personally like this image. And I think, why do we like it? Like we have to think about like, okay, well, we're using the colors that feel analog, but we still have like maybe a background that feels calm and like versatile. So now we kind of know like, okay, we have a bunch of colors to play with. We're experimenting with colors and you can kind of go back and forth between like, what do you need help with from Claude and what do you just want to put into Weavy? Like sometimes if something isn't coming out in Weavy how you like it, just tell Claude. Say to Claude, like, I want a better prompt for getting a color palette from an image, or you can just go directly into Weavy. And so one idea that actually came up when I was looking at this image is like, we really like texture, which we saw here. We also really like this just like pretty analog hybrid machine thing. So what if the anchor of our visual system, if you will, is like as you use the product more, this becomes more used visually? Like, what do you think?
I love that. I mean, like digital products, think about it, they're kind of like cartoons. It's like The Simpsons never got older, you know, but time went on. So I like this. That's a winning concept. I'm in.
Okay, I love that. True. And I feel like sometimes if you overuse analog things digitally, but there's no purpose to them, it feels kind of gimmicky. And so you got to think about too, like, what's the purpose of your brand element? Like, it's not for the sake of it. Like, we're not just putting this to be pretty. But if you're making it more like used like you would in the real world, then it's also just like a reason for someone to actually use it every day. So then we might say to Claude, I have a product idea. The app should age with use. New users get a nice interface, blah, blah, blah. But we want to extract that loved and used feeling. And then let's say like, write me a prompt. Oh, I have that here. Write me a prompt that shows a progression on a vintage audio equipment image. Let's see what it says. Let's see what that does. It might be a little too detailed, but who knows? It's good to experiment. And maybe we use it with this cassette tape because we want to do it on a cassette tape.
And so Flux 2, you basically are exclusively using Flux 2 Pro.
Right now, yes. For any image generation, it's like you don't have to be too deep about which model you use. Like, you just want to see it visually. And I found that Flux is quick and just good at like text prompts, and it feels like very generically good. And then I'll get into like a couple other models down the line when it becomes more important to like grab actual assets. Okay, this kind of shows us what it would look like to like have a more used cassette tape. And I do love the vibe, actually. I'm obsessed. So now maybe we take this image we love and say, okay, let's put that into Flux again. And the prompt is like, show a more used version of this audio system. And again, like there's always a more detailed, in-depth prompt. Like you can always paste your prompt into Claude and be like, make this a better prompt, and just kind of like experiment with it like you would vibe coding. Let's see what it does. And then while it's generating, let's go back to Figma. Now we kind of have a visual anchor of the whole product. Like it should all kind of get more used as we use it, as the user uses it. And like if we're going to go back to what the functionality is, we need to be able to record audio, see what you record, and have a timer. And now let's say that we have a color palette and we have a visual anchor. So we're probably ready to like actually work on the actual like assets and buttons now that we kind of have, honestly, like all the pieces put together. Like I actually love this so much. Oh my God, this is so pretty. Okay, cool. So we could start with the buttons. This is another prompt I kind of wrote out beforehand, is like, we need a record button. And something I do a lot is I say to Claude, like, okay, write different prompts of different types of record buttons. Like we might want to try like a minimal version that's similar to this. We might want to try like a more intense version that might be similar to some of these versions I did earlier. And you kind of just want to see what different buttons look like. So I'm going to show you how these were generated over here because it's the same exact process we just used. So you might take input as a color palette. You might want to take input as a cassette tape. Any image, again, can always be your input. And then let's see what the prompts are. So this is, for example, like generate a record button inspired by this cassette recorder. It should be like an analog button from the 80s. Use this color palette. And I've actually just like I found that like a lot of talk online about AI is like, how do you get consistent characters with like AI images, which is important and like challenging. But the nice part about product design is you don't need like a face to look the same. You just need colors, shadows, lighting to look the same, which is a lot easier. So it's like a lot easier in app design and web design to make something like visually consistent with AI than like images you're generating of a person. Anyway, okay, so we have a bunch of buttons. This one I really liked, but it makes the background hard, I think, because it's not like on its own. So my personal favorite ended up being just isolating this red one from our favorite image right here. What do we think?
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, love
It's simple. It's like, you go into like a Staples or whatever, and they sell those like big red buttons that people want to press. Like that's what this feels like.
Yes, completely. I love it. It's so adorable. And I kind of like how it's like modern, but not modern, and analog, but not like completely analog. Okay, so we can kind of just go with this button. Normally from here, I would just download this image like straight from Weavy. Let's download it. They make it so easy. And then into Figma, I would just paste it. And we're literally just starting to like save assets that we like. And so now we know that we like this button. And we can deal with like typography and text and like all of that stuff after. And so if we're going to go back to like, okay, what do we need to build? We now have a record button. We can deal with typography and text after. And we have kind of this like recording speaker system. Clearly I'm not like an audio person. Okay. Now the big element we're missing visually, I guess, is the like history of after you record something, what does it look like? In our AI generated app, it's like a little list. But if we want to lean into this like analog, whatever, vintage, cool system, we probably want like a metaphor for that. And luckily, we already have a metaphor for it, which is in the name. It's a cassette tape. So we could just go back to one of these images. I actually really liked one that got generated here. And I'll show you how this was made. From this color scheme, which was created the same way we did earlier, you could say, generate a set of cassette tapes using this color palette. Show the tapes from the spine view like they're stacked on a shelf. Actually, I'm kind of curious if we did that from this color palette, what would it do? Let's take this image. I love this image. It looks like it'd be like a cafe in Brooklyn. And let's do Flux again. And then let's do that same prompt I just pasted. Generate a set of cassette tapes. Let's see what it does. And then let's do the same thing from this one. I'm just curious. And I just kind of copy paste the same prompt over and over. And I also just love how Weavy and these kinds of tools are like meant to be really messy. Like it's meant to be, I think, really just a bunch of things everywhere.
We haven't really talked about like the price of something like this. Like how much is it expensive? Is it cheap? Weavy?
Good question. It's pretty well priced, I think. I think it's like 200 credits that are free every month. And okay, wait, I'm on the paid one, which is like $10 a month, I think, 15. And you get 1,500 credits because I use it a lot for work. But this you could do for free. Like you get like, I mean, this has taken us so far probably like 30, 40 credits. So it's kind of amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
And see how good this is? Like it literally just created all the cassette tapes based on the two color palettes. I think it did a pretty decent job. And then an idea is like, okay, we want to use these cassette tapes as the history of like each recording. So maybe we take this image, we do another Flux prompt and we go, give me this same image, but change the text on the binding to be a date, like January 19th, 2026. Because then we can kind of keep this metaphor going and be like, okay, every time you do a recording, we have like a new cassette tape show up on the screen. I did one earlier that I also liked. I'll show you guys in a sec once this generates. Actually, wait, I'll just show you now. Like this one, for example, the one I showed earlier, we took this image and it has like random text that it generated. And then I said, okay, replace the text with different dates. And it did it pretty nicely. So you could kind of imagine like you'd give this to a vibe coding platform and then it would just like do it automatically. Let's see if it did it. Oh my God, it's so cute. Okay, I love it. So you can kind of see the dates and then, I mean, some of them are a little off, but that's okay. These don't need to be perfect. So now let's download this image. I'm going to download the one from here because it has a bit of a background color I like. So let's download this image and let's paste that into Figma. Okay, we have these two visual references. So now we pretty much have even though it's kind of hard to see. If you squint your eyes, you can see that we have like all the functionality visually. Like we have a record button, we have a speaker, and we have the history. It's just not in an app yet, which is fine. Let's do the logo, and then let's come back to the last step, which is putting the app together. Okay, this logo stuff still blows my mind as someone who has been designing logos their whole life. Where am I? Okay, let's go back to Weavy. So now we're going to switch models. We're not doing Flux anymore. We're going to do Ideogram. Super cool model. It's really good at typography. Honestly, it's like amazing. So, okay, we're going to put this into Claude. And it basically says, write me 4 logo prompts. One that's like this, one that's like this, one that's like this, one that's like this, whatever. And let's see what it does.
So it says a technical word mark, version A, handwritten, B, tape label, C, minimal word mark, D. Okay.
Do you like these? Maybe this one?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the coolest. Like a version C, like a tape brand.
Yes.
Like, I haven't even heard the names TD Key or Maxell and Base F. Like,
Same.
But like, you know, I it's actually probably like deep in my brain somewhere, you know.
True.
But like, I do like. I think that's like what we're trying to evoke.
Okay, let's go with this one, and then let's see. Oh, and another cool thing Logo does that Claude is good at is giving a negative prompt, which is basically what you don't want. And so we don't want something 3D render, glossy, gradient mesh. Unfortunately, AI is ruining gradients. Sparkles, like these, you could just list 1,000 things you don't want. So that's kind of helpful too. So let's try it. You type Ideogram V3, and you're going to add the prompt, which you picked, which is like a really good one, I think. Get rid of the version thing. And then the negative prompt, let's just take Claude's. I feel like it's pretty good. Cold, minimal, corporate, true. Definitely don't want that. Negative prompt. Okay, let's run it and see what it thinks.
Let's run it.
I just do Ideogram for fun because it's so wild.
Okay, so Flux for most things, Ideogram. Okay.
I love it.
That is really nice.
Isn't it so nice? I love it. I can't even tell how to spell cassette anymore, to be honest, but it doesn't.
I think it's 2 S's, right?
I think so, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Oh my God, I love it. Let's do a few more. They're so fun. Like you could do pretty much any. And then sometimes if you only like one prompt from Claude, you could be like, I like this prompt, make another one, but maybe we have a different style, but black and white only. Because sometimes you might need a black and white logo.
Yeah. And like the gasp that you just had, like, oh my God, is because you have been a designer your whole life and have spent so many hours, days, nights, sleepless nights, you know, thinking about all this. So the fact that it can get done for like the cost of like 3 pennies or whatever is just like in like 1 second is mind blowing.
No, it's so true. It's mind blowing. Like really the only benefit of being a designer at this point is knowing maybe a little bit about like what to react to, but that's really, really minuscule. Like I think it's so insane. Like I'm not as obsessed with this, but still cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very cool. And then the other ones that got made earlier were also really cute. Like all of the, I mean, this one was bad, but this one's really cute. And you can kind of just feel out like what fits and what doesn't. And I mean, the benefit of making a mood board and all the like earlier stuff of like how should it feel is it can let us look at this and then this and kind of decide, okay, this feels more the vibe.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
So we have a logo.
Okay, we have logo. We're good. Let me download this logo. Now we're pretty much ready for the final situation, which is making the screens in Figma. So in Figma, if you press F, you can get the frames. Let's just click iPhone and make a few iPhone screens. Add some border radius to be pretty. And I'm going to paste in a little top bar. Let's call it cassette. Just spell it differently everywhere. And then...
And how did you paste the top bar for people who don't know how to do that?
That's a good question. I have a really bad answer, which is I have it in a file that I copied forever. But You can also Figma community search iOS and like every iOS component on the planet shows that you can copy paste.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's honestly more for, it's like, you don't need to do it here, but it just makes it feel so much more legit. And then let's bring these down so that we have like a bit of a side by side. Okay, what do we need to do? Record audio, history of what you record, timer. Okay, these don't need to be perfect. Let's first do record. Actually, let's just like add our logo in. Cute. The problem is that it's a black background and we don't want that. You can very easily in Weavy, there's another tip in Weavy. You take the result, you type in background remove.
Oh, wow.
And it just does it right there. And we can re-download that.
That's handy.
Right?
Yeah.
So cute. Logo background remove. So let's use that one instead. Very cute. And then we're going to want to color. Let's just use something like this for now, and we can change it because that doesn't quite fit. Another tip that's Figma that I like to do a lot is anytime you have an image and you're trying to figure out your color, go here to appearance. And if you go down and type overlay or hard light, you can kind of play with these blend modes and you see like it changes the color based on the background. So like even this, for example, feels a little better than that. But we can change our color after based on our color scheme. Let's just get the functionality down. So we have this like splash screen. Now let's do the record audio button screen. Let's just go ahead and paste this directly for now. And then we can fix it later in terms of spacing and whatnot. Let's change the background. And now we need the history of what you record. Let's just paste this in and see how it looks. We kind of have the basics, but it looks like we need to change a couple of the backgrounds. There is actually one more cassette tape I liked better in our Weavy that might work better, and now you only see it once you're in Figma. And it's this more simplified cassette tape here. This one, I ran into the same thing earlier, simplified cassette tape. And just for reference, I made that by just saying like generate a new row of cassette tapes. And so you really just like iterate on your exact Weavy the more you go. Because in this one, it's like a little hard to see the spacing and stuff. So let's make another one with the simplified cassette tapes. Adorable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that looks really good.
It's so cute. Okay, and maybe they can like horizontal scroll it, but we also need to unfortunately remove the background. Remove the background. And we're also going to remove the background of our favorite one, which is this one. And that's kind of like a thing you should do all the time is make your favorite asset and then remove the background at the end once you're putting everything together to make it all cohesive. But while that's running, let's download this. Just call it clean. Go back to Figma. Paste in clean. Paste in our logo at the top. Cool. So this is our new version of history. This is our current little splash screen. And then let's get the one that we removed the background of down here. Oh wow, it removed everything. That's okay. I'll show you how to fix that because that happens really often. Now we have this little button. Sometimes when that happens, I actually just take this into Figma and remove the background. Background removal, it's like so common that you just kind of mess with it until it comes out right. Like honestly, if we just did it in Weavy again, it'd probably work too. Now let's get the color scheme we want. We already have the color scheme from Weavy. Let's go back up to our color scheme. Just kind of copy range shot, paste it here, and kind of eyeball. a better color scheme that fits the vibe. Like something like that is nice to feel a little more warm. And now I guess we need text.
Mhm.
We'll literally just look at the vibe coded one to kind of copy what text we need. Or we can just look at what we need to do. So you need to record audio, history, and timer. So record audio. Oh, well, we're missing a record button. Now we know from the history screen. Let's go ahead and add a cute little record button here. Maybe some type. A helpful tip for mobile apps is like I would just keep the typography very simple and the same 20. Same tip as earlier. A helpful thing for typography is for colors, use blend overlay, and then it automatically is the color that fits well for that screen. See, like this automatically looks like it fits really well, and I just duplicated it. Something like that.
Do you ever think we'll get to the step where, like the step before this, like the pre-Figma step, where you'll just be able to put into Google AI Studio and it'll just like figure it out for you?
Honestly, you could do that now. Like, I think part of me likes compositing in Figma so that when I am going back and forth to Google Studio, I have a North Star.
Yeah.
But like, you could very much just literally get to this step, paste in these reference images to Google Studio, and kind of see what it does. It might take a lot more, similar to vibe coding, like back and forth.
Yeah.
I think it's similar to like how much back and forth do you want to have? How much of a vision do you have for it? Like this isn't a necessary step by any means.
At the end of this, what I want to do is just compare what Figma output versus Google AI Studio's output.
Yes, I think that's a great idea because I'm kind of curious, like if we paste this in, and like the logo. There is a logo I kind of liked better that was generated here that I do think we should use. It's this little, I think it's just that we need like a black and white one, honestly, for it to be really simple. But honestly, either would work. It's really just personal preference sometimes. But just so we have some less colors going on, let's remove that background. And then the last text we'll add is library. And then paste it at the top. And there you go. Your app is done.
Download it at the App Store right now.
Rate it 5 stars.
Yeah.
But I like that idea. Should we paste it into Google?
Let's paste it into Google, and then after that, let's tell people if they actually wanted to make this a fully functioning app, like how would they actually do that?
Okay, let's do it. Redesign the interface based on the logo, color, image of cassettes as history objects, and record button attached. There's probably a much better in-depth prompt we could use and make this work really well, to be honest.
Right. And we would go to Claude or another LLM to go and optimize that for us. Right?
Exactly. Like you could finesse it to the point where you have pretty much everything. Or you could honestly just like upload the Figma files too, but you really don't need to. And then you kind of see what it does.
Yeah, and then we wait.
I wonder what it'll do.
I mean, if it could do that, it would make the lives easier for a lot of people. The way I see it is it's kind of like, do you want to, there's like, you can drive a manual car, you can drive an automatic car, or you can drive a self-driving car, aka you're not driving at all, full self-driving. Yeah. And you're just like managing the wheel, and like now it's kind of pick your poison based on like your level of comfort on all these different tools.
Totally. And sometimes it's just like whatever comes up with the best output. Like you could design the whole thing in Figma and then suddenly like you get a one shot that's just better, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like I found that shaders, especially in Google AI Studio, it's like the one thing where I found that it just one-shots it so well that I'll almost never start with an existing thing.
And then have you played or have you seen, any of these mobile vibe coding app platforms like Vibe Code App or Rourke, and there's anything.com? Have you seen these?
Yes, that's a good point. I have seen them. I haven't played around with them in extreme depth. I've like tried a prompt or two.
Yeah.
And I know they're getting better at backends and stuff like that, but that's usually always my hold up with them is they'll feel like a little almost like the old version of no code sometimes, but honestly they're getting so much better that I'm sure it will evolve a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on my to-do list to like try it out, but I have seen like some of them are built on Claude on Opus 4.5, so it's like you got to think it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, they're probably really good. And I feel like in the past 6 months, like Claude has gotten, I guess all the models, but at least from what I use, Claude's gotten so much better at Swift and iOS. Whereas I feel like web used to really be like substantially better. And now it's like really good at iOS too.
So for the mobile apps that you're building now, you're using Cursor?
I'm using Claude Code as my number one love of my life. My number two love of my life, Cursor with Gemini model and plan mode. And then for one-off shots, one-off prototypes, I'll use like Google AI Studio directly.
You can only have one love of your life. You can't have two. That's blasphemy.
No, you can. But yeah, it's Claude. It'll always be Claude.
Okay, what do we got? What am I looking at here?
Let's see. It got the logo. It got the orange. Okay, honestly, it's like much cuter.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Wow. Oh my God. Life is so crazy. I can't believe it did this.
It's not perfect. And I think the Figma version is a lot better, but I think that you probably can ping pong this to get to a point where it's almost, if not Figma level.
100%. Also, like our prompt was so short.
Yeah. And we're doing this live, so point is, people listening, if you want to go back to AI Studio, feel free. You don't need to be in Figma.
Yes, 100%. Like if you spent one more minute than we did on the prompt, I thought I would have done it.
Amazing. Suraya, anything else you want to leave people with? Anything else that you didn't cover that you wish you did?
Good question. No, I would just say that spend lots of time on Cosmos, spend lots of time gathering your own inspiration. That's like actually just a lot of it. And then you can pretty much make anything you want.
Yeah, it feels like what I've learned is it's a game of kind of like collecting the right inspiration and then using, like maybe sleeping on it and being like, okay, this photo, this picture, this, and then getting the insights from there and then just bringing it back to AI Studio or Figma. And that's what it is.
100%. It's so simple. It's like really, you can take one visual reference and then just like make everything based on that.
Well, thank you so much for coming and showing us all this. I think it's going to make a huge difference in people's products, lives. And I'll include links for where to follow you on your journey in the show notes, in the description. Highly encourage people go and follow Suraya and her journey. She's criminally underfollowed, criminally unknown, but people who know that you're an incredible designer. And I'm just honored that you came on the show, that you shared a lot of sauce, and that I've gotten to know you over the last 5 or 6 years.
Nice. Thank you. You too. I'm so happy to be on.
I hope you come back on again. And people listening, I hope you go and build something beautiful. And I know you will now. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you go.